Hey there, Shooby Doodlers. How are you doing? Well, it's Valentine's Day next week, so I thought we'll have a bit of love in the air. And I'm going to design a mug with a kind of a love theme, but let's not talk about it. Let's do it. So I got my piece of watercolour paper here, and I've sort of roughly marked out here where it's got to fit. And I want the main kind of bit there, so you'll be seeing that as you drink if you're right-handed, and then we want the lettering to be around about there. When it comes to it, I can twist the lettering around on Photoshop a little bit. So my plan is to have kind of a lady, that's probably, sounds a bit 1950s, doesn't it? We're going to have a woman, okay, who's carrying a basket of rose petals. Well, that's a bit 1950s too, isn't it? So I mean, the whole thing's going to be a bit 1950s. And so she's going to be kind of dancing through the meadow. So she'll have a kind of skirt like that, and so her leg will be roughly about there, and then that'll come to about there, and then that'll be about like that. Good. And then right in the middle here, I'm going to have a pair of lovebirds kind of twiddling about, chasing each other around, having a bit of fun. And then we might have, we're going to have this kind of a meadow down here, and I thought we'd have a pair of rabbits, and one being a little bit more amorous than the other. So they'll be about there. And then over here, we're going to want to have the text. Is that a bit bright, I wonder? And so I'm going to put love is in the air. I think I might start off down at this end, and I'm going to do this all in handwritten like that. Love. And this is just a made up kind of serif typeface. And if you don't know what a serif typeface is, it's these little bits at the top, the bits that flick over each side. Those are called serifs. Serifs. Serifs are kind of angels, aren't they, I think. So I'll put that in there. And if I need to, then I can always change the colour of this in Photoshop. I'll be getting it all ready, print ready for the mug in Photoshop. And I think I've just kind of discovered I mean, I've known I could do mugs and things on in fact, if you look down below, you'll probably find, like last week I did a lion, a leaping lion, and I sort of made a mug, a leaping lion mug, which I thought looked kind of fun. And you can go and buy that now if you like. You can follow the links up here, and let me get this right in. And then also if you go to my website, click the other link, then you'll be able to buy this original piece of artwork, one off, one only, including postage, and you could have it in your own very hands in a very, very short time, unless of course it's already sold. Love is in the air. So I have a kind of a template from Spring, who are making the mugs and things like that, and so I can, once I get scanned all this and I get it into Photoshop, then I can just slightly change it and tidge it around if necessary to fit the template, to make sure it all fits on the mug nicely. It's in the air. I think I might have to move the THE over. In fact, I might even, look, I'm going to, no, that's not right. I'm going to do another E, because I'm not entirely happy. That's still not right. I'm obviously not in the mood for E's today. No, that sounds not right either, does it? So I'm going to do that. So if necessary, I can drop that in as well. It's cheating, is it? I don't know. Good. So let's draw this lady, the messenger of love, let's say then. Okay, so she's going to have a fringe. That's going to sort of come around there, and it'd be bottom of her ear, and she's going to be smiling, seraphic smile. We're back to seraphic smile. A seraphic smile is like the smile of an angel. So, and then we're just going to have this hair flowing behind her like Botticelli. I keep thinking of doing how to draw a Botticelli beauty one of these days. A neck. I'm just going to give her a kind of little bit of a frilly neck, I think, since we're going 50s stylish. And then I'm going to do this is going to be the handle, and then we're going to want the kind of the rim of the basket. It's going to be like that, and then there's going to be these petals in there, and then we're going to want to have a bit of a cuff. That's the word I'm looking for. Cuff there, and then her hand, it'll be holding the basket. She'll have a little bit there, and we want to have some wicker work, sort of woven kind of stuff like that going on in there. And here she'll be a frilly cuff again, flinging out the rose petals, which of course are all heart-shaped. Ding! We might even have one or two little movements there, but not too much because that'll make it too confusing. And then we get these like they're little butterflies or something, and just keep adding them in, and then we're going to have to sort of draw behind them in some places, and need to sort of change the angles because they're not all going to be at the same sort of height, sort of, you know what I mean. As you throw them out, they're not all going to sort of naturally all go along in a perfect sort of vertical heart shape. And also they're probably going to want to get a little bit smaller as we come further down here. And we want them sort of like that, and then I'm going to not draw them all because some of them are just going to be painted, so that I can make them sort of go into the distance a bit by not having a black line all the way around them. So let's draw these birds. This one's that's kind of smiley bird. Not minding being chased. It's getting to be that time of year. I have a pond outside my window here, and this morning there was a bit of a kerfuffle going on, and there was a blackbird having an almighty sort of splashing bath out there, and so obviously getting himself in tip-top condition to attract the ladies, and then I had a robin and a blue tit as well, so something's going on. Haven't had any bathing out here all winter, so right, let's get this. I'm just going to have a sort of a bit of a kind of frilly edge to this frock, and I'm not going to I have a plan for how I'm going to do that, and then we want to have her coming sort of like that, and then maybe a little bit of heel too. So we'll have her leg coming down into the ankle, and then kind of slipper with a little bit of a heel. Oh, there's a bigger heel on that. Never mind, don't look. Okay, and then I think I'm going to sort of put this meadow in here, and there might be kind of one or two little flowers in there as well. I suppose it ought to be spring, so they ought to be daffodils and tulips, of course. So we could have some tulips in there. I think that's about it. Oh, then we want the rabbits, don't we? So we'll draw a rabbit, and a rabbit, and a rabbit, and some nice long ears like that. Slightly coy, and then I don't know why I'm doing the ears first this time. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? And he's going to be a bit of a smile on his face, I think, bit of a bit of a hopeful kind of look. A bit more in there. There we go. And there we go. And excellent, good. And now I'm going to use my hairdryer to dry it. And then I can erase those pencil lines. So you always want to make sure. I've done about 2,000 videos on YouTube, and I must have said about 2,000 times, when you are absolutely sure that the ink is dry, then erase the pencil lines. And I did try doing this. I tried a little rehearsal of this. This is my second attempt of doing this video, because the first time I didn't let the ink properly dry, and especially on the writing here it all got smudged, so I had to start again. So I suppose I've had a little bit of practice. Time for a cup of tea. I have my watercolours here. I might just zoom in a little bit. I got my watercolours. I've got some water there. It's not terribly clean, but never mind. Oh, the brush isn't terribly clean either. So I got my brush and I got my kitchen towel. Always got kitchen towel. And I have here a Chinagraph pencil, a white Chinagraph pencil. So I'm gonna do lots of little spots here. So she's gonna have a pink polka dot frock on. And just talk amongst yourselves while I do this bit. It's a bit boring because you can't actually see that I'm doing anything, but it's like a wax pencil, China marker. They used to be called China Crafts, I don't know. And they do come in different colours. So the idea being that if you're putting a price on a piece of china, you can just draw it on, or a name or anything else you want, and then it'll just come off in the wash. But it is also really, really useful for doing things like this. Actually, I think you might want me to zoom out, if anything. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with some Naples yellow. And just sort of paint her in there a bit. Like that, and her hands as well. It's a bit too yellow, and then her legs as well. And I've got a little bit of Scarlet Lake. There's a bit of pink in there, and a little bit of pink in the legs and in the hands, and kind of like that. And a lot of this is about just letting it flow, let it dry. That's a bit too much there. That's about right. Good. And while that's going on, then I'm going to use here alizarin crimson and a bit of Scarlet Lake to make it not quite so crimson. And I'm going to paint this in love. I think it needs to be a little bit stronger, so I'll add more colour to it, less water. Love is in the air. I don't know if I told you. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, because I did, as I say, I started filming it before, and so I'm quite looking forward to Valentine's Day, which is on Monday this year. And if you're watching this in 2040, then you'll be going, what's he on about? But here in 2022, we've been through 2 years of the pandemic, and then on Monday, which is the 14th, I think, then I am going to a real live school, and I'm going to see some real live children, and we're going to have some drawing illustration sessions, which I'm so looking forward to. I was originally going to be talking to some sort of 15, 16-year-olds about illustration, and the school couldn't get it together, so the libraries are organising it, and they said, oh, can I possibly actually physically go and visit a school? Yeah. And so that'll be fun. It'll be kind of like the old days. Normality. So here you can see, as I'm painting here, the white spots are sort of showing through, which means that I kind of don't have to paint them because I've drawn them in already. And then I'm going to get a bit more of the crimson and just darken it a bit underneath there and back there, and just sort of down there. I think that's all I need to do. And then she probably needs a kind of a crimson hairband like that. Looking good. I think she probably needs red shoes as well, doesn't she? Crimson shoes. There we are. And so next, I kind of feel the birds ought to be an exciting bright colour, so I'm going to make them blue. Here in the UK we do not have blue birds. Well, yeah, the nearest we have is, I suppose, a magpie, which has that kind of, you know, two-tone greeny blue like satin does. Satin? There's some kind of cloth that does that, isn't there? You know, you just kind of move it, it goes from sort of green to blue. And jays have a bit of, oh, kingfishers, they're very blue, aren't they? But these are not kingfishers, definitely not. And so I'm gonna, yeah, let's do some of this grass down here. Let's put a bit of that in there. So I get a bit of yellow, that's cadmium lemon, and so I'm just gonna flick some of this in down here. Num num num, bum 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 bum. And what else is new? Anything else that's new since last week? So last week I did a lion, you may remember, and I made a mug. So this is why I'm doing this week. So I thought, I don't know, I have this sort of merch thing, so I set it up so that I could sell my ebooks, and then they keep saying, why not do mugs, why not do this? So I finished the lion, and I thought I will go and scan that at a really, really high thing, so 1200 dots per inch. and I went on to Spring, where they do the merch. It's not a good word, merch, is it? And they said, oh, you can do posters. So, posters. So I sort of did the posters. So if you want to buy a poster of my lion, you can do that. And you can also do mugs, and because I'd already put the artwork up, I said, yeah, just use that artwork. And oh, that looks quite nice, and it kind of wraps around the mug, and that made me think about this week. I thought maybe I could do something to actually wrap around the mug. It's Valentine's Day, and I thought I'll do a Valentine's thing, and then I don't want to make it too specifically Valentine's Day because you're not going to want to go and get one in the middle of July or something like that. So I thought, you know, but if you're in a romantic mood, or someone's getting married or something like that, you might think, oh, that's nice. And you might want to get this as a mug. So that's what I thought. You might also want to get my lion as a mug, but there you go. You can get them both, why not? So where are we now? We're going to want to have a rabbit. So I'm going to make these rabbits a bit. I know some of you will know that I do like Naples yellow. And a little bit of pink in those ears, I think. There we go. And then we're going to want a bit of burnt sienna for some brown to make it more obviously a rabbit, like that, and maybe a bit around there. Making it quite subtle. I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in there. That's a bit of sort of purple, a little bit under there, and a bit under there too. That's hair. What colour? I think she's just going to have dark. Oops. Again, those who follow me a lot will know that I like neutral tint. So I think her hair is going to be neutral tint. So it's not kind of black hair or anything like that. It's neutral tint, which is a kind of grey, Payne's grey. If you haven't got neutral tint, I think neutral tint is a Winsor and Newton colour. But if you haven't got it, then you can probably use Payne's grey or Davies grey, I think, as well. And I'll just put a little bit more down here to give it a bit of sort of form. Is it form? I don't know. I call it curvature myself, but anyway. And so I'll have a little tiny bit of blue in this eye there, I think. And I was going to have these blue birds, wasn't I? So there's quite a lot going on here, I suppose. Bluebirds. There we go. I know some people will be watching and go, he's going over the edges. I'm not bothered, but you might be, so if you are, I'm very sorry. I know some people go, really quite twitchy, going over the edges. But I think that's one of the things about watercolour that I like best. I think you can just go over the edges. You can, of course, if you want to, with watercolour, you can completely stay within the edges too. And be very, very precise. But I'm, a bit free. So I'm just going to start filling in these little rose petals. I might do one red thing there, and those will be, there we go. And so if you have ideas for themes and things like that you would like, in fact, you can contact me on my website, and if you particularly think, it'd be really great if Shoo could do such and such, you can commission me to make a video, and I'll sort of mention you and make you a drawing, and I'll send it to you as well. So contact me on my website for more details. Again, you'll find a link up here somewhere. So we've got a few little hearts there, like that, and then I think we need some kind of slightly paler ones without the line around them, just to kind of fill in the spaces. But that's actually there's quite a lot of liquid on the brush there. That's better. Take some of that liquid off. So the more liquid, then the kind of the darker it is. And we'll have some much smaller ones. So there might be one or two edits in this, particularly when I'm doing the vacuum cleaning, no, the hair drying, and I think I might just put some little random dots in there just actually for that. So there might be one or two very short edits in here, but otherwise you're getting the whole thing, and this is kind of the speed that I work. And I know some people say you go too fast, but it's just, that's just how it is. I think that's probably enough of that, and then I'll get some more green and just kind of build up the grass a little bit, I think. And then some people would be going, what? He's just used one pen and he's just using one brush. I suppose that's just historical, really. I think, because no one, I was never taught to paint, and I think some people would use a brush for this and a brush for that and whatever, and so yeah, and I think they tend to be painters more as well, and I don't consider myself a painter. I'm an illustrator. So I think painters are far more thinking about the paint, whereas I'm thinking far more about the story and the drawing and the feeling of it somehow, if that makes sense. Let's have a couple of little yellow, I'll just put a few more little yellow spots in there, and we could have some, let's have some little sort of forget-me-nots in there, something like that. Just some odd little bits of bloom. And I think I just need to do a little bit of something in her hair, just sort of something like that there, and that's about, I daren't touch it anymore. And I think I think this is the point where you start to, oh no, I should have left it alone. This is when you can start to ruin it. I'm thinking, and I've forgotten what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this basket that needs a little bit more work. I think this is burnt sienna. There, that's better. And I think the petals in it need a bit more work too. So that's a bit better. I think I'm going to need a little bit of blue in her cuffs, like that, and in her collar, like that. And I think the petals in the basket need a bit more sort of depth to them, like that. And I am going to say that is it. I'm going to sign it round about in the middle, hidden away in there, and it's 222. There you go. There we go. Thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel and keep coming back for lots more drawing videos every week. And don't forget, you can go and get this as a mug. In the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.